Hello everyone, we are going to be taking a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. We are now on episode 43, I believe, and I don't remember too much that happened in the last video, but we saw a unification happen up here between the Baikal Nation and Eastern Siberia. Sorry, I forgot my thing. We also saw the War of the Isles happen over here, that's what I'm going to call it, where we saw England. Let me go to the old map so I can get their old color. Hello. No, I can't get it. Basically, let's just imagine that this is the old English color. Let's say that this is the old English color. I don't know. Also, my things, like, basically, what we saw was Scotland gained, like, a lot of land down here. Wales very nearly doubled in size, and Cornwall is a snake. And another thing that we saw with this is we now have our first communist nation in Europe. That's the only thing I remember happening. Although, there is something that I would like to say. I counted every single ideology here. It might be off by one or two for, I believe, the democracies. And I figured out that there is 151 nations in this world. If we count, like, puppet states. Not here, because this is occupied territory. If we counted them, then there would be 153, but they do not have an ideology, so I will not count them. Anyways, I think we should just get on with the actual stuff. And the thing that we're going to be seeing happen is actually going to be over here in Europe. Why is that? Well, you see the Australian Unificarian nation. Well, something very similar is going to be forming up here in Europe. And if we turn on the military alliances, it's not going to be in a military alliance. Economy, not going to be in an economy alliance. And, well, I guess it is a union alliance. These guys are going to be forming a union. And if I can just... It's going to be between Serbia, this nation. So let me just get these pixels. As well as, not Greece, this Greece-coloured country, though. Because they, for some reason, have the same colour as Greece. Anyway, they are going to be putting their capital, not in the old area, but they are going to be putting it right here. And we are going to be getting rid of the old two capitals. And something surprising is going to be happening. If I can find the right letter, a military alliance is going to be made, and it is going to be, if I can look at the thing, I don't think that is a square. It's going to be a square. I don't know if it was, I think it was 3 pixels that I did this, I don't really remember. Anyways, it is going to be formed between these guys over here. Actually, I think it was 5. I can't tell. Let me see. Let me count this. Probably isn't the best way, but I don't care. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, that's useless. Let's just go with 5. Sorry, an alliance is going to be forming between I don't really know what's called, Volcano Unificaria, as well as Australia Unificaria. And this is going to be just the Unificarian Alliance. And just so you guys know, these aren't the exact same color, but they're very similar. And it's not just going to be a military alliance that's forming, they're also going to be forming an economy alliance. And what shape have we used? Is there a parallelogram? There is not. And it's also going to be formed between these two. So if I can just boom, bap, boom. And if we go over to the Union Alliance, then we're going to be seeing a Union Alliance be made as well. Jeez, a lot of alliances. Where is it? Here it is. It's going to be the triangle one, because I'm getting rid of a triangle, so I might as well make a triangle. And it's going to be formed between, once again, the Unificarian, I think. I don't know how I'm really forgetting, but it's going to be made between them. So, yeah. Unificarian alliances. Yeah. But not only that, but we are going to be going on to the rankings. And that's because I forgot who was in second place. I've been dying to check. But, apart from that, we're going to be seeing another union take place. But it's not really related to the Unificarians. Like, not at all. And where is this? Why, it's over here, of course. And it is going to be between Morocco and Carthage. I think they have Carthage. And by them, I mean I'm lying. It's going to be between this nation and the Ivory Coast nation. And they're going to be forming a country that is going to be the color of this. And as you can see, it's not the same as the Volcania Unificaria, or the same as Australia Unificaria. So this isn't a Unificarian nation. And they aren't going to be joining the Unificarian alliances, as you can see here, here, and here. I turned them off almost instantly. Okay, yeah. Just so you guys saw. Anyways, now that we've done our daily Unificarian alliance stuff, well, not daily, but basically now that we've done some stuff, we're actually going to be going to, I believe, the one continent that hasn't had anything happen since, well, no land stuff, happened since World War II, sorry. That's going to be South America. Because once again, we're going to be seeing another union take place. Wow, a lot of unions this episode. And if I check the military alliance, where is it? They're not in a military alliance because there's literally none here. What? Why do you have a trapezoid? Brazil, why do you have a trapezoid? It's not going to be important in a sec. And they're not in a union alliance. Because that is going to be between both Brazil and South Brazil. I don't know what to call this country. So, yeah. Brazil is expanding. Yeah. But now we're going to be seeing something not so peaceful. Because if we shift our gaze up to Europe, we're going to be seeing something happen with their nuclear alliance. And it's going to be it's going to be a few nations joining. And the countries that are going to be joining are going to be the nations of Finland, Caucasia, and the Eastern Central Asian Federation. These guys don't want to join. And they're not letting these guys join. And Norway, they don't really like Norway. Anyways, they are joining just because they are inviting them mainly just because they have. And I'm not saying that every nuclear alliance is one. I mean they're just joining the exact same one, just because they're not. So yeah. Anyways, if I can give these guys the coloring, then we're going to be seeing another nation get a nuke. And who's that nation going to be? Well, it's going to be a nation that you're probably not going to think it's going to be. It's going to be in the British Isles. And I'm going to put it in the middle. Actually, no, they're going to have 3. And the nation joining. I mean, the nation who's going to have a nuke. It's going to be Ireland. Why are they having a nuke? Well, me and my friend made a joke about what if Ireland had a nuke, so yeah. Yeah, why not? Anyways, if we turn this off, then we're going to be seeing something surprising happen. And that is, we're going to be seeing Franco-Iberia lend one of their nukes. And who are they going to be lending it to? They're going to be lending it to Poland. And I will resemble that with a 1 right here. And I will also do this to indicate that they are taking one of Franco-Iberia's nukes. So yeah. Not just that, a few nations are going to have more nukes. And the first nation is, once again, going to be Franco-Iberia. And they are going to go from 16 nukes down to 12, I'm joking. They're going to go from 16 to 27. Very nearly doubling their nuke count. But it's not just them. It's also going to be these guys going from 13 to 22. As well as Rome going from 12 to 16. No, to 18. And finally, these two up here are going to be going from 4 each to 8 here and 12 here. So as you can see, nukes are going up very quickly, and I'm not forgetting about the other nuclear powers, they're just not getting any other nukes. Okay? So stop your complaining. Anyways, there is a plan, I believe, 2 or 3 episodes, not 1 to 3 episodes, I think not 3, 1 to 2 episodes ago that I mentioned, that the Franco-Iberians are making. And it is known as the Plan for Power, and I'm not going to say anything much about it, but it's going to be important, and no one's really going to expect it. Help. The old Beneluxian nations aren't going to expect it. The Romans aren't going to expect it. None of the Iberians, the Greeks, you don't matter. The Croatians, Slovakians, Romanians, Bulgarians, or Orange Bulgarians, or Polish, Germans, etc. None of them are going to expect it. But there's one nation that is going to expect it, because they're in on the plan. And I'm not going to mention it. We are going to be, if I go onto the technology layer, we're going to be seeing a technology go up to an even higher level than there currently can be. And there's going to be 2 nations that are going to be gaining this strongest one, and that's going to be Franco-Iberia and France. They are both going to be going beyond the current strongest to an even stronger layer, because they are the strongest. These guys have the most technology, and France is very close to being in the top 10. Hell, if I go on to the rankings, where is it? What? Why? Why does it say Parietta here? Go away. We can see that South Africa is not the 10th strongest, well they are, but instead they are the 10A strongest. Because 10B is going to the French. And if I just do this, then you can see that France is very quickly becoming a very strong power. Going from losing World War I to being occupied for about 10 episodes, to coming back, and now they're on the top 10 already. Making a few countries very nervous, mainly their old colonies. Such as, well, not Quebec, but Quebec is fine. Mainly Nigeria is a bit worried about it, but the Franco-Iberians are like, don't worry, they aren't going to do anything bad, trust me, we know. Because if the French did end up trying to do something, like say they, I don't know, they began invading into England via Cornwall, the Franco-Iberians would be there, and they would murder the French. So trust me, the French really do not want to try it, because they would get absolutely dead. Anyways, we're going to be going over to the HCE, because something surprising is going to be happening. And it's actually going to be another union. And if I can just get the city and the capital there on, it's going to be between two of the most populous nations here. And it's going to be between not the Green nation, sorry. Well, I lied, it's not going to be the two most populous. It's going to be between this brown nation and this nation up here. Why? They just tried to get their independence. I don't know. Don't ask. I'm not the guy who runs this country. Anyways, they're going to be forming a country under this color. Actually, I'm going to make it very slightly bluer. There we go. But it's not just these two uniting. It's also going to be this salmon nation. And in fact, I'm going to actually make this a bit lighter. There we go. So yeah, they are very quickly becoming a very populous nation. And let's just go to a different part of the world because yeah, the next part of the world thing is going to be different in this area. And it's going to be the anarchy layer. Wow, we went from a lot of unions to anarchy. How fun. What is the anarchy going to be like? Well, let me show you. This nation getting kicked out, as well as getting kicked out over here. But then these guys begin invading these guys and manage to nearly wipe out these guys. But then they begin invading into this pink one, as well as this purple one. But then the purple one walks into the banana colored one. And then the banana goes into the red. But then the purple takes this northern section, and then the red one takes this. And then the banana one ends up taking this. So basically everything shifted. So yeah. Not just that though. Groups over here are just not conforming to any group and are just rioting. And it's not just that, it's also in this clump over here. And they're just beginning to invade out. So if I make this all grey, they're just beginning to invade out. And it gets to a point that just up here, it's also considered a humanitarian crisis. People are dying in the thousands, nearly the tens of thousands here. Sorry. And if we go onto the LS layer, once again, every area that they border is once again, it's coloured in, not coloured in, it's once again bordered by an LS member. So once the LS members are told, hey, could you deal with this? Because it's just getting to a point where it's getting very bad. So they begin to just invade into them. Because they value the people. And they don't want anything bad to happen. So each country here begins invading into, well, not really invading, but they begin occupying certain sections. Just so that they don't just fall under communist, under just pure dictatorships or authoritarian areas, because that's very bad. So each nation here begins just invading. No, not invading. They begin liberating, and it is actually liberating. People are being welcomed with open arms, and eventually, after a while, each area here is under a different nation. So this is under this country. And then the rest just goes to the French. No, not the why did I say the French? The Franco-Iberian. No, the Nigerians. So yeah, it's all divided, and we can see how it's going to get divided. In 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, like this. Like this. I don't know why it wasn't centered. Where we are going to be seeing a Nigerian occupied area look like this. This previously Polish one occupied this. This not ever occupied by a colonizer one looked like this. And this previously Norwegian one looked like this. So yeah. You might be thinking, oh, looks like there's no areas that are going to be under anarchy. How am I going to tell you this? If we go over here, and I turn off the LS layer because it's annoying, go away LS, then I'm going to turn on the military alliance, and then I'm going to turn on the economy alliance. I'm going to turn on the union alliance. There's one country that is a part of each, well there's two, but I'm only focusing on one. And that one nation is Kurdistan. Well, Yellow Kurdistan. They are, if we go onto the technology layer, they aren't the best, but they aren't the worst. But they aren't very technologically like advanced. And they aren't very populated. And that is going to lead to just, it's not like they full on collapse, but like the main government collapses and like each province sort of just like declares independence, sort of. Like not really, because if I get rid of the capital here, we're gonna sort of see how it looks, because it's gonna be a bit weird. We see a lime group appear up here. A orangey coloured group appear down here. A purpley pink group appear up here. A red group down here. And finally, we see a, like, this coloured one appear where I believe the old capital was. And I want you to know, like, this isn't really, like, this isn't necessarily, like, anarchy, but it isn't very good. It's, like, anarchy with extra steps. Basically, like, there's no, like, ruling government over all of these groups, but, like, they aren't all, like, fighting to be the best. They're just, like, sort of, like, they're just coexisting. Like, they don't have, like, a capital. As you can see, none of them have a capital. In fact, this city couldn't be a capital because it's literally shared between two of the groups. So I'm not trying to say that this is anarchy, but like it isn't the best. I don't really know how to put it. So it's like anarchy but sort of peaceful, I guess is how I could put it. I don't really know. So that is basically just how I'm going to put it. The Kurdish nation sort of falls apart, but it isn't as bad as it could possibly be. And I am going to be getting rid of these because, like, they sort of have to leave. So, yeah. And if we go on to the LS, they're also going to be leaving here. Because it's not like they could really do much. But speaking of the LS, we are going to be seeing a few countries have certain statuses here. First of all, I'm just going to I'm just going to get rid of these. Just because I don't think that they need 3. There we go. A few countries are going to be getting different statuses. First of all, oh yeah, I forgot. I also need to do this. Boom. Also, these guys are gonna be a dual, whatever the hell they are. They're gonna be a full democracy. They're gonna be a full dual democracy, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it. Yeah, they just, yeah. So yeah, democracy. But as I was saying, a few countries are gonna have specific statuses here. And if I can go back on the layer, the first one is going to be over here, and it's going to be down here. Because the LS is trying to be a democratic alliance. Which means there's a few areas that are gonna have to go. Because the main ruling government in this northern one is gonna be fascist. And this one is a dictatorship, and this one's also fascist. So they aren't going to be just outright, like, they aren't going to outright just be kicked from the alliance. But, But instead, they're all going to get certain things where they are in the group, but instead they are going to be suspended. That's a very large star. They are going to be suspended. And like I just said, that doesn't mean that they're out of the thing, but they're just suspended. And other countries that are fascist are going to have to be suspended, including this nation over here. Going across Europe, it's going to be this Human nation. If we go down, nowhere in Africa gets killed. No, not killed, gets kicked. Well, yeah, like, thing. Over here, this nation, and this green nation get thingied. Going down here, nowhere does. But there is one thing that is a bit like, there's a group that is sort of debating on whether they should be kicked out or not. Or like, that should be, how do I put it? Why am I forgetting how to put it? That should be, oh my god, why am I forgetting how to say it? Hold on. Suspended. I paused for about 2 seconds. Suspended. And that is the Rusianic nations. Because, how do I put it? So, let me, like, make a diagram. So, you have, like, the head guy. And he is overlooked by a king. The king elects the head guy. And if the one moment. And if I accidentally just opened something, and if the king ever is, like, for some reason, like, unable to rule, then the head guy would become the king and would then choose one of the, like, guys down here to be the new head guy, and he would elect a guy here. So it's a bit like a democracy, but, like, you don't get to, like, choose, like, the thing. I don't really know how to put it. So basically, like, they're sort of thing, because it's a bit like, you don't choose what goes on. But you can, like, sort of elect the very, very bottom guys. So, yeah. Hold on. Sorry about that again. But they are debating whether to suspend them, because, like, it's like a dictatorship. Well, not really a dictatorship. You don't really get to choose what goes on. So it's a bit like a dictatorship, with, like, or fascism, because they don't really care about your opinion. So the LS, like, they begin to, like, debate, like, on whether they should be, like, suspended or not. But as I zoom out, that means that this is the end of the video, because I have to eat now. and I'm gonna get interrupted about 20 times if I don't go get my food. So yeah, this is the end of the video. If you liked it, then yay. If you didn't, then damn. Anyways, goodbye.